Maintaining a consistent higher frequency is the antidote to all your spiritual stagnation. It's the gateway to your desired reality, the one beyond all your worries, where abundance flows through every aspect of your life. Right now, you're probably watching this because you're stuck in a cycle of stagnation. Nothing you do seems to move the needle. You take action, but it feels like you're running in place. You wake up with intentions, you set goals, you try to push forward, but by the end of the day, you're right back where you started. You feel that consistent lack of energy, that heaviness that follows you everywhere. It's in your chest when you wake up. It's in your thoughts as you go through the motions. It's that quiet voice telling you that maybe this is just how life is for you. And here's what makes it worse. You look around and see other people thriving. You see them manifesting, attracting, growing, and you wonder what they have that you don't. You wonder if there's something fundamentally wrong with you, if maybe you're just not meant for that level of success, that level of joy, that level of freedom. Here's what nobody tells you. Your depression, your stagnation, it's not a lack of motivation. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're broken. It's misalignment. You're vibrating at a frequency that's completely out of sync with your true self, with your highest potential. And reality is simply reflecting that back to you. Reality is a mirror. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't punish you. It just shows you exactly what frequency you're broadcasting, with ruthless accuracy. But what if you could rewire your energetic state so completely that reality has no choice but to obey? What if you could create a frequency so strong, so stable, so unshakable that what you want doesn't just come to you, it chases you? What if the things you've been desperately reaching for suddenly start reaching back? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. What I'm about to share with you has a name. It's called the Invincibility Frequency, and once you understand how to activate it, everything changes. This isn't some vague spiritual concept that sounds good but leaves you wondering what to actually do. This is a practical operating system for reality itself. This is the code that's been running underneath everything you've experienced in your life, whether you knew it or not. The Invincibility Frequency works on two levels simultaneously, and this is critical to understand because most people only focus on one level and wonder why nothing changes. First, it acts as a shield. It makes you energetically invisible to lower vibrational circumstances, the drama, the lack, the unexpected problems, the people who drain you, the situations that used to derail your entire week. They can't find you anymore because you no longer resonate with them. And I mean that literally. You're not ignoring them. You're not suppressing them. You're not pretending they don't exist. You've actually shifted to a frequency where they cannot land on you. They literally pass right through you like you're not even there. It's like trying to tune a radio to a station that doesn't exist in your area. The signal just doesn't connect. Second, and this is happening at the exact same time, it acts as a magnet. While you're repelling what you don't want, you're simultaneously becoming a powerful attractor for the people, opportunities, resources, and synchronicities that match your new higher state. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start receiving. You stop asking, why isn't this working, and start asking, why is everything suddenly working? But here's the thing, and this is where most people have been getting it completely backwards their entire lives. You've been living life in reverse. You've been letting the material world, the 1% reality that's already manifested, that's already solidified into form, dictate your internal state. Someone cuts you off in traffic, your mood drops. You check your bank account, you feel anxious. Your boss sends a critical email, your confidence crumbles. You see someone else's success on social media, you feel inadequate. You look at your current circumstances, and you let those circumstances tell you how to feel. And then, from that feeling, you take action, or more accurately, you take reaction. You react to what is, and what happens? You just create more of what is. You're trapped in a loop, and the loop is getting tighter every single day. You've been giving the outside world permission to program your internal frequency and then wondering why your life never changes. We are going to flip that script. From this moment on, your internal state will dictate your material world, not the other way around. You're going to learn to hold a frequency that has nothing to do with your current circumstances, and then watch as your circumstances rearrange themselves to match it. Now, I know you're thinking, that sounds incredible, but is it actually real? Can consciousness really shape physical reality, or is this just positive thinking dressed up in spiritual language? Let me show you why this isn't just philosophy. This is how reality actually operates at the most fundamental level. Science has already proven this, and they proved it in the most rigorous way possible. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect, and it completely shattered everything we thought we knew about reality. At the subatomic level, the building blocks of everything you see, touch, and experience, particles don't exist as solid matter until they're observed. Read that again. They don't exist as solid matter until someone looks at them. Before observation, before consciousness interacts with them, they exist as waves of pure potential. Infinite possibilities all occurring at once. The particle could be here, or there, or everywhere, or nowhere. It exists in what's called a superposition, a state of all possibilities. But the moment a conscious observer looks, the moment awareness touches it, the wave collapses into a single reality, a single particle in a single location, in a single state. Your consciousness isn't separate from reality. It is an active participant in creating it. The very act of conscious observation determines what becomes real. You're not just living in reality, passively experiencing a world that exists independently of you. You're collapsing possibilities into manifestation every single moment. The version of reality you experience is the direct result of where you place your conscious attention and what frequency you're holding when you place it there. But if this is true, if we have this much creative power, why doesn't it feel like it? Why do most people feel powerless? Why does it feel like life is happening to you instead of through you? Because there's something standing in your way. And until you understand what it is and how it operates, you'll keep giving your power away without even realizing it. Your one opponent in this entire game is your ego, and you need to understand exactly what the ego is, where it came from, and why it's fighting you every step of the way. Your ego wasn't created by you. It was created by the outside world. It's a survival mechanism, a psychological construct that was built piece by piece from every experience, every criticism, every disappointment, every limitation you've ever encountered. Your ego is the accumulation of every time someone told you no, every time you tried and failed, every time you were rejected, every time you weren't enough. It believes the outside world is its parent, its authority, its source of truth, and its only job, its only directive, is to react to circumstances to keep you safe in the reality you already know. It doesn't want growth. It doesn't want expansion. It doesn't want you stepping into the unknown, because the unknown can mean danger, rejection, failure, pain. The ego is the voice of limitation. It's the voice that says, "Who are you to want that? Look at your bank account. Look at your past failures. Look at where you came from. Be realistic. Stay small. Stay safe." It will give you 1,000 logical reasons why your dreams are impossible, and they'll all sound reasonable. They'll all sound true, because the ego speaks in the language of evidence, and it uses your current circumstances as proof that you should stay exactly where you are. The ego doesn't want you to hold a higher frequency, because a higher frequency means change, and change feels like death to the ego. So it would do everything in its power to pull you back down to the familiar, comfortable suffering you already know. It would rather you be miserable and safe than joyful and uncertain. And here's the trap. The ego is so convincing because it sounds like you. It sounds like your own thoughts, your own voice, your own reasoning. So you believe it. You think those limiting thoughts are your truth when they're actually just your ego's defense mechanism. But here's what the ego doesn't want you to know. You are not your ego. You are the awareness behind it. You are the consciousness that can observe those thoughts, which means you can choose not to obey them. Let me give you proof that you've already experienced this, even if you didn't know what was happening. Think about a time you were in an amazing mood, truly joyful for no external reason. Maybe you woke up and just felt good. Maybe you got great news. Maybe you had an incredible conversation, and you carried that feeling with you throughout the day. Did you notice how people smiled at you? How strangers were friendly? How traffic seemed to clear? How you found a parking spot right away? How small, good things just happened effortlessly? How everything felt easy. Now think of a day you were angry and stressed before you even left the house. Maybe you slept poorly. Maybe you woke up to bad news. Maybe you started the day already defeated. And did you notice how you stubbed your toe, spilled your coffee, got cut off in traffic, couldn't find parking, and ended up in an argument with someone? Did you notice how everything that could go wrong did go wrong? You probably thought it was just a bad day, a string of bad luck, random coincidences. But it wasn't. Your state was the cause. The circumstances were the effect. You weren't experiencing reality. You were creating it, moment by moment, based on the frequency you were holding. This process just scales that principle up to your entire life. Your consistent energetic frequency is broadcasting a signal every single second of every single day, and reality is constantly matching it, constantly confirming it back to you. If you're broadcasting lack, you experience lack. If you're broadcasting fear, you experience fearful situations. If you're broadcasting unworthiness, you experience rejection. But if you learn to broadcast abundance, confidence, peace, and power, regardless of what's currently in front of you, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to match that signal. So how do you activate the invincibility frequency? How do you actually do this? There are 3 steps, and they're simpler than you think. But simple doesn't mean easy, because each step requires you to go against everything your ego has been telling you your entire life. Step 1 is the decision. This is where everything changes, and it happens right now, in this moment, as you're listening to these words. You make a single, conscious decision. From this moment forward, my external reality no longer has permission to dictate my internal state. Say it out loud if you need to. Write it down. Make it real. This is your declaration of energetic independence. You are breaking the feedback loop. You are severing the causal link between circumstance and state. And this is critical to understand. This is not a gradual process. This is not something you ease into. This is a line in the sand. This is a threshold you cross. Before this moment, the world controlled you. Your mood was dependent on what happened to you. Your confidence was dependent on external validation. Your peace was dependent on everything going right. After this moment, you control your frequency regardless of what the world shows you. The decision is instantaneous, and the moment you truly make it, something shifts inside you. You feel it. It's subtle, but undeniable. It's a quiet knowing that you just took your power back. That's the beginning of your invincibility. That's the moment you stop being a victim of circumstance and become a creator of reality. But the decision alone isn't enough. You need to calibrate. When you wake up, before you check your phone, before you look at the news, before you see what fires need to be put out, before you let the world tell you who you are today, you ask yourself one question. How would the version of me who has everything I want feel right now? Not think, not believe, feel. Close your eyes if you need to. Imagine that version of you, the one who's already living your dream life, the one who has the relationship, the bank account, the career, the health, the freedom. Would that version of you feel confident, peaceful, abundant, excited, calm, grateful, powerful? Locate that feeling in your body. Find it. Don't think about it. Feel it. It might be a warmth in your chest, an expansion in your heart, a lightness in your shoulders, a stillness in your mind, a tingling in your hands. Everyone experiences it differently, but you'll know it when you find it. Hold that feeling for just 60 seconds. That's it. 60 seconds of embodying the energetic signature of your desired reality. No visualization required. No affirmations required. Just pure feeling, pure frequency. That is your calibration for the day. You've just set your internal thermostat. You've just told the universe what signal you're broadcasting today. And here's what most people don't realize. Reality will now begin to reorganize itself to match it. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. The moment you hold that frequency, you've just shifted into a parallel timeline where that frequency is your baseline. You've just changed channels. But this is where most people sabotage themselves, which brings us to step 3. Step 3 is the surrender. Once your state is calibrated, your job is to let go. This is where most people fail, because this is where the ego fights the hardest. You calibrate the feeling, you feel abundant, you feel successful, you feel peaceful. And then immediately, within seconds, your ego jumps in and says, okay, great, but how is this actually going to happen? What's the plan? What do I need to do? Where's the money going to come from? Who's going to hire me? How am I going to meet that person? What if I'm doing it wrong? And just like that, you've dropped the frequency. You've gone from creation mode back to survival mode. Trying to logically figure out how it will happen is an act of distrust. It's the ego trying to take back control because it doesn't believe the universe can deliver. It doesn't believe consciousness creates reality. It only believes in force, effort, and struggle. Your role is to hold the frequency. The universe's role is to handle the logistics. You are not responsible for the how. You are only responsible for the state. The how will reveal itself, but it will reveal itself in ways your logical mind cannot predict. It will come through synchronicities, through unexpected opportunities, through people you haven't met yet, through doors you didn't even know existed. You will be guided to take action, but that action will come from inspiration, not desperation. It will feel aligned, exciting, obvious. You'll get an intuitive hit, a sudden idea, an unexpected phone call, a chance encounter, and you'll know. You'll feel the resonance. That's when you move. That's when you take action. Action from a calibrated state is effortless and effective. It flows. It works. It creates results that exceed your expectations. Action from a desperate, low-frequency state is exhausting and ineffective. It's forcing. It's pushing. It's trying to make something happen through sheer willpower. And it rarely works. And when it does work, it doesn't last. Let me paint you a picture of what your life looks like when you live from the invincibility frequency. Because this isn't theoretical. This is what actually happens. You wake up, and the first thing you do is calibrate. You don't check what the world wants from you. You don't check what problems are waiting. You decide what frequency you're broadcasting today. You spend 60 seconds feeling the way your future self feels. That's your morning practice. That's your non-negotiable. You move through your day, and yes, challenges still appear. Life still happens, but they don't land on you the same way. Someone tries to pull you into drama, and it's like watching it happen to someone else. It doesn't stick. It doesn't trigger you. You don't take it personally because you're no longer resonating with that frequency. You observe it. You might even respond to it, but you don't absorb it. Opportunities start appearing that weren't there before, not because new opportunities were created, but because you're finally tuned to the frequency where you can see them. People reach out to you out of nowhere. Old connections resurface with perfect timing. Ideas come to you in the shower, in the car, in the quiet moments. Solutions present themselves effortlessly. You're in the right place at the right time, and it's not luck, it's alignment. You're no longer forcing, you're no longer chasing, you're allowing, you're receiving, and it feels completely different. It feels like life is finally working with you instead of against you. You're no longer a thermometer, passively reflecting the temperature of whatever room you're in. You've become the thermostat. You set the temperature, and the environment adjusts to you. That is the invincibility frequency. That is what it feels like to live as a conscious creator instead of an unconscious reactor. You have a choice right now, in this exact moment. You can close this video and go back to letting your circumstances dictate your state. You can keep waiting for the outside world to change so you can finally feel good. You can keep believing that once you have the money, the relationship, the success, then you'll feel abundant, loved, and confident. Or you can make the decision. You can sever the link. You can take back your power and start broadcasting the frequency of your desired reality, regardless of what's currently in front of you. You can stop waiting for permission from the material world and start giving yourself permission to feel the way you want to feel right now. The stagnation ends the moment you make the decision, not when your circumstances change, not when you see evidence. The moment you decide that your state is no longer negotiable. Your reality is waiting for new instructions. Give them,